Hello, everyone. Welcome to Patriots 3, Life, Liberty, Pursuit of Happiness. And here's your Tuesday hosts, Tim and Matt. Matt, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, Tim. How are you doing?
Well, I've been fasting for the last 2 days, so I might be getting hangry. I'll just put it that way. But I'm keeping my spirits the best that I can.
Rough.
Oh, believe me. Oh, man. Yeah,
Rough.
I called for an order, and well, that place apparently wasn't delivering. And yeah, I'm not a Door Dasher. But anyways, find us at Tim Holliday TV. As also, the Tuesday shows get posted on Matt of Mystery on X. Being that I'm not on X right now, I'm really appreciative of that, Matt. And so yeah, you can find us at Tim Holliday TV. That's TimHolliday TV. And that's on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch TV, iHeart, Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts. The past couple of weeks, but toward the end of the show, been playing this fun little game of guess Tim's age. So how old am I? Do you all think? Last week I actually cut all my hair off, and I'm sorry, Matt, it's growing back. My hair is just about as long as Pastor Jerry's.
Jeez, I can't even grow my hair that fast. Jesus.
Told you it's like a weed. Yes, it's something insane. So yeah, I'm actually passing up Pastor Jerry, and to give an example for the audience that's watching, definitely follow Pastor Jerry on Politics of the Pulpit. You can find his show at KHTS on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And I usually have a really good conversation with Jerry, actually slightly after his show, and a really good guy to talk with on a regular basis. So today we're definitely going to be talking about some of the recent comments. Yes, exactly. So we're going to be talking about some recent comments that came up from last week's show, which is pretty good. We're going to be talking a little bit more about today's culture. We're going to be talking about a couple of different people in our government. Platner is one of them, and Mitch McConnell. We definitely have. Hopefully, it doesn't go over because I know Matt has some things to do immediately after the show. So where do we want to start off? That's always a good question.
Dealer's choice.
All right. So, I mean, one thing that really upsets me is politicians politicizing things that shouldn't be politicized.
Here's where some F-bombs might come out.
All right. So, get my hangry out. No, being that Pastor Jerry does watch, I'll try to put it
and ready to go.
I want to try to put that at bay the best that I can, because I know Pastor Jerry watches on occasion. So, but here we have what was it? Brittany Pattersen. And let's see here. You don't have to make oh shoot.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
She tweeted, you don't have to celebrate like Donald Trump to celebrate America 250. Patriotism isn't political. And I reposted that. I was like, yeah, here you are making it political. Fuck off.
Yep. And that's very well put.
You can't say don't be political about a holiday and make it political. It takes a special kind of mental midget to do something like that. And I got to tell you, the left is filled with a lot of mental midgets, a lot of them. I mean, the mental gymnastics that they have to do to come up with some of the stuff they come up with is just, they need to join Barnum and Bailey's, the circus. They're hiring.
Well, we can't say that the right is completely innocent either. So, here's a post from Ted Cruz.
Oh, they are not.
And
they're not. Oh, yeah. Another winner.
Here's a post here from Ted Cruz.
The full
Go ahead.
Yeah, the full tweet from Ted Cruz, it doesn't show it there, but basically he goes, "Happy 4th of July." And then he follows it up with, "Today's the 47th anniversary of the daring Entebbe raid." I don't know what it is. He says he was only 5 at the time. But I remember being inspired by the amazing courage of the IDF team that rescued the hostages and killed the terrorists. I thought, quote, "That's a very Texan foreign policy." Okay, here's the thing. The 4th of July this year wasn't just any normal 4th of July. All right. This was the 250th birthday of the country. And here's Ted Cruz, a Republican from Texas, saying Happy Fourth. Oh, by the way, hey, the Israel did this 47 years. I don't give a good goddamn. It would be a different now. See, here's a different here's a different scenario. He could have said Happy 4th of July. However many years ago, I suck at math, but this is the anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg and our decisive victory over the Confederacy that helped turn the tide of the Civil War. That is something to be celebrated. You can say that. Hey, that's a great example. Holding our country together, all that stuff. That would be a perfect example. Celebrating a freaking Israeli raid from 47 years ago is bullshit.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz, you are the mental midget of the 4th of July from the right.
So here's another one where you did a repost, and this actually surprisingly came from, well, a communist socialist mayor of New York.
Yeah.
What?
Unbelievable. Mayor Zohran Memdani, okay? He wrote a big tweet, and it was pure. Click on his post for me, and I'll read it out for everybody. Today marks 250 years since a small group of newspaper editors, farmers, and soldiers signed a document declaring our nation's independence, a truth that feels self-evident now but was revolutionary then. What a privilege us Americans have to live in a nation that every one of its inhabitants can shape. What an honor us New Yorkers have to look out over our city's waters from the shores where so many Americans bravely entered their country for the first time. Today and all days, let us remember that patriotism is not pretending our nation is without flaws. Patriotism is every act of righteous dissent because loving our country means fighting for the best version of it. Happy 4th of July, New York City. Now, listen, at the very end of that, he kind of goes a little bit, like, hey, taking kind of like a leftist tint. But for the most part, for like 90% of it, that was spot on. It's spot on. And that came from a devout leftist, communist, borderline Islamist mayor of New York City. And Ted Cruz, look, that's what you need to do, Ted Cruz. Look at that. It's like, come on, man. Like, come on.
So you reposted it, tagging.
He didn't even one up him. I don't understand the problem that some of these the right is just as bad, it seems, when it comes to saying some stupid shit. And I don't know why the last year and a half, we have seen a dramatic shift on the right when it comes to celebrating Israel, defending Israel, and not just defending Israel, propping up Israel. And then say, hey, what's up, Drop Hammer? There's a big problem on the right on touting, everything Israel and everything Israel. When we've talked about this in the past, I won't rehash it, but the 4th of July is the time to celebrate anything and everything American. Absolutely. Nothing else. And the fact that a Republican had to celebrate something that's not even American. Now, again, I don't know what the raid he's referencing is. I should have done that before the show. So my bad. But again, that has nothing to do with the country surviving. That has nothing to do with the country's birthday. That is not like,
right.
4th of July, man. That's like that. Thank you, Drop Hammer. I appreciate that. It's more than you know.
But we won't read that one back out loud. But the other one that Drop Hammer put was
it's the 4th of July. It's 250
America first.
He's not anymore, at least. And we only get one 250th anniversary, just one, and he blew it.
Right. Yeah. So, politicizing things like that is just, is disgusting. You put that down and celebrate the country. It shouldn't matter of any party you're involved in. Be about America first.
No.
That's something the Drop Hammer just commented that Ted Cruz is not American first.
I completely agree with Drop Hammer on that one. The other thing about July 4th is this, and it was clearly evident in the weeks and days leading up to the 4th of July that the overwhelming majority of the left hates Trump so much that they will shit on everything that he does, and they will shit on any holiday that comes up just because Trump is their president right now.
Right.
When it comes to, like, take for example the reflecting pool. Now we can have a debate on whether Trump fumbled the repair of the reflecting pool. He might have, he might not have. We don't know. Whatever. But the fact that leftists are going there to vandalize it and to brag about how bad it is because Trump is their president right now is beyond pathetic. It's sad and it's pathetic, and it makes them look really freaking weak. But then again, to politicize 4th of July again, it's like, I have nothing to celebrate because Trump is my president. Boo fucking who? I never did that when Obama was president. I never did that when Biden was president.
Right.
I still blasted off fireworks because I'm proud to be an American no matter who's the president. Now, I could be ashamed of some of my country's actions sometimes, which I have been.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm not proud to be an American. America is the best country on the face of this planet, and you can fight me any day of the week over that. And I'll knock your ass out when you say it isn't. I don't care. And I'll sleep like a teenager after I do it too.
So I'm actually just dropping the links from the X into the chat right now, and I'll get it all updated on the show description after. That's all right. No, it really bothered me as well, as far as the
like, I was driving around my city and I saw people actually driving around waving Mexican flags out of their cars on 4th of July. It's
that
like,
bothers me.
you know, I know you're not. I know you're trying to piss me off, and I wasn't pissed off. I wasn't surprised, but it's like the fact that we have people living in this country that hate this country so much, yet suck on this country's tit to survive, is pathetic.
It's like, we're here in America, start acting American. And, you know, those actually, we'll talk about that a little later regarding to the comments that we had. And that actually hit pretty good as far as some comments. But I'm actually I'm lagging today as far as dropping the comments in the chat. But I think I'm caught up here. I think I'm caught up here. But I forgot to pull up a video here, Matt. But let me grab this video here. When it comes to politicians, it is just crazy. And I want to, I played a couple of these guys' video last Thursday, and I want to bring this one up. And let me know what you think on this video.
Politics is the science of fraud. And politicians, as Richard Henry Lee put it, they're the professors of that science. Now, he wasn't just talking about a few bad apples. He was actually warning us about the nature of the system of politics itself. Deception is their first principle. They conquer the people by pretending and lying. They pretend to support their interests. They pretend they'll follow the Constitution. They pretend that they're in favor of liberty. But behind the curtain, it's all deception, a fraud to expand their own power.
We've seen a lot of that when it came to the masks. I'm just going to put it that way.
Yeah.
They're when they're getting on stage behind that podium, they'll slip on the mask. And then, as soon as the cameras are supposedly off, not all of the cameras were off, but they were caught, pretty well red-handed, because someone always, has a.
I mean, towards the end of COVID, they weren't even trying to hide it.
Right. Yeah, someone bring out their cell phone.
When the camera's wrong, like, oh, yeah, fine, I got to put this thing on.
Right. Yeah. So I definitely want to bring that one up, because it definitely brings up a lot of important points as far as including the politicizing of our 250th anniversary of being in the United States. They're just playing a game with us. I mean, every single one of them. I don't want to put it like that, but I mean, it's terrible. I mean, we got Mandami.
No, but they are.
Yeah.
No, but they are. Like, don't apologize for calling it out, but they are. They're actually playing a game. It goes to the core premise of what this show is. We are all about the Constitution. We are all about, liberty and the rights that we have, not created by government, but by God, right?
Yes.
Whether you believe
absolutely.
in God or you believe in a higher power, it doesn't matter what your religion is. It matters that these rights are human rights. They're granted by our creator. They are not granted by government. So when excuse me, when you have all these politicians, left or right, doesn't matter, they all are guilty of it. And no, I would say the overwhelming majority of them, because there are
Correct.
some honest politicians out there.
There are.
Tom
True.
Massey, looking at you, bud. Love you.
Haha, good one.
Is Tom Massey perfect? No, no, he's not. Is he a flawed person? Yeah, he's human. We're all flawed.
Right.
But when it comes to holding up the Constitution when nobody is looking, the overwhelming majority of politicians don't do that.
Right.
And the fact that we call them lawmakers is pathetic. They're not lawmakers.
Right.
They're not supposed to be lawmakers. They're supposed to be representatives. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be law breakers because they're supposed to deregulate and eliminate laws and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
no, we're not. Like I wrote an article about that when for Red State a couple years ago.
Yeah.
The title of it, I think, is like I want to reclaim my politician, or I want to reclaim my elected leader. And that was the core premise of the article. It was, why are we continuing to elect people and referencing them as lawmakers? They're not lawmakers.
No.
That goes completely against what our founding fathers wanted.
Right. Yeah. So it's been a very interesting situation when it comes to these laws that are being passed. They're not, and ordinances, as we learned during the 2020 and 2021 time, ordinances are not law. And a lot of these laws are not really constitutional. And people try to bend, break, and make it look justifiable. And it's crazy because, people fall for it. They fall for the sharp silver tongue and forked tongues and such. And it's absolutely terrible that they're not following the Constitution as they are sworn to.
Well
Did you
put,
get that?
Drop Hammer. Yeah. Matt, I've been telling people since the 80s that what the problem is with DC is that we have lawyers making laws for lawyers, not citizens.
Yeah.
Couldn't put it better myself.
Right.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. You've got people in office that are, I mean, it kind of goes both ways, like laws for lawyers, lawyers for laws, but it's the lobbyists, right? It's big pharma, it's big government, big pharma, big food,
Corporations.
big tech, all the bigs.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I hate that I make that argument sometimes because it makes me sound like a liberal, but it's true.
but I mean, there's a big government and bigger government, as we spoke about, one of the previous podcasts here. And the big government is the Republicans, and the bigger government seems to be the Democrats. But I mean, it should be
Democrats,
the opposite. We, the people, should be the biggest government, and I'll pronounce it like that because people aren't looking, to step up and do the duty. We have more power than what everyone thinks.
I mean,
That's absolutely right,
we
Buck.
do, but at the same time yep, yeah, good, yep, 100%. The problem that we have is that we're losing our power. We're losing our power every time we vote, and the reason why I say that is every time we vote is kind of, I'm gonna try and stop using that because it should be every time we don't vote.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is every time we have an election, every election that we have, you see, and I can speak for my area, but this is indicative nationwide. But for California, for example, LA County, Los Angeles County, where I live,
Yeah.
We have, I think, 1.2 million registered Republicans in LA County, which is since I was involved in politics, since I started with the Republican, since I started working directly with the Republican Party, we went up from like 950,000 to over like 1.1, 1.2 million. So kudos to the LA County Republican Party for getting that number up.
Yeah.
that was hard work. But that being said, out of 1.1, 1.2 million registered Republicans in the last election, I don't think we got I think we got roughly 20% of the registered voters to go out and vote.
Wow.
20%. Do the math.
Was
That's
that
what, 300,000?
was
300,000
that just
Republicans?
was that just for the recent primaries there in California, or was that in recent past?
Yeah,
Or,
but what and it was for the recent primary election, but the point that I'm trying to make is that in the general election, it doesn't get that much better. In the general election, you might have 35% of the registered Republicans voting. There is a massive, massive cataclysmic disconnect when it comes to voters and the elections, because more and more voters, myself included, are losing faith in the elections, and they're losing faith in their elected leaders, because too many people, and this is the problem, are losing faith in the election. Why bother voting? Because my vote is either going to get canceled out, or there's going to be a magical dump of tens of thousands of votes to counteract mine.
Right.
And again, those complaints are valid. They are absolutely valid.
Yeah.
But nobody's fixing that problem. Governor Newsom came out today. Like, I'm signing this bill and make it illegal to confiscate any ballot before it's counted. Well, what if it's fucking fraudulent? What if it's, you don't want to verify these ballot seizures after the election day should be absolutely done, not like willy-nilly, but like, hey, if you've got evidence to support, like, hey, where did all these ballots come from? Hey, we're not going to count them. We need to verify these things first.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do that. It's the same.
Right.
It's the same thing as the Stop Nick Shirley Act. It's also the same thing as, hey, we might just get a conservative as the public superintendent of public education in California. We're going to take that role away.
Yeah.
And it's going to be mine, the governor. Again, I ask you, who's the tyrant now? Who's the king now?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had Linda Payne on a couple of weeks back from the Election Integrity Project, and she says there's definitely something wrong going on. So it's Bill Asaley, who's I believe taking charge of looking into what's going on in California. Mm-hmm. I do know there's a lot of mishaps that are happening in the voter rolls there in California. Some of my friends who have moved out of California, we're talking like 4 or 5, 6 years ago. Even before the pandemic, they're still receiving mail-in ballots from California. And I'm talking Pennsylvania, Nevada, Idaho. Just California's not cleaning up their roll.
No, California's making it worse. California definitely makes it worse. And it is true, what goes for California goes for the nation.
Yeah.
That typically is pretty accurate. And that should scare the hell out of everybody outside of California, because California is setting the bar so high for corruption. They're setting it so high for all the things that they shouldn't be setting it high for.
Right. It's like having like 2 or 3 major cities in your state, and those 2 or 3 major cities get the rule of what happens in the entire state. Yeah. So, let's put Kansas, for example. You got Wichita, and you have, Kansas City, Kansas. What other big cities are there in Kansas? So those 2 cities are going to take the majority of rural Kansas, which is basically the rest of it. And I'm just using Kansas as an example.
It kind of makes you wonder, like, it kind of makes you wonder if, like, states can have their own version of the Electoral College, almost,
right,
to make it more equitable. I mean, to use the liberal language, to make it more equitable for all of the voters. Because I'm sick of, like, in California, if you look at the electoral map of California, like, say, for the presidential elections, right? The 98% of the counties in California, or 95% of the counties in California are red.
Yeah.
But because everybody lives on the coast, those predominantly blue counties will annihilate the rest of the state.
Well, watch out for that whole.
And that's why farmers in California are suffering so much.
Yeah. And watch out for that electoral thing, because they might try to redraw some lines again, as we've seen in a number of states here in our country.
Yeah.
And, they call it ungerrymandering, which Texas was the only legitimate one to undo their wrongdoings. And then everyone's like, "Oh, Texas is doing it, so
I don't want to hear any complaints about gerrymandering." Yeah, I don't want to hear any complaints about gerrymandering. And the reason why is because gerrymandering currently is not illegal. So when the left complains about the right doing it, and then the right complains when the left doing it, hey, man, until you make gerrymandering illegal, It's fair game. It's fair game. Stop complaining about doing it. Stop complaining about one side doing it and then you doing it, and then you do it. It just sounds hypocritical. Ban gerrymandering. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. Pass a federal law saying like, hey, congressional districts go by county. That's it. County line.
Right.
Do something like that.
That's the way it should be.
Maybe that's my naivete talking, but I don't know.
Well, let's touch up really quick on this whole matter of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. So here's something from Leading Report. Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has officially been shut down. So what's your take on that,
Officially
Matt?
shut down. I'm not surprised, honestly. What upsets me the most is not that it got shut down, is the fact that the Republican House and the Republican Senate didn't codify anything they recommended. So everything that DOGE did, it didn't do anything because the Republicans didn't have the testicular, or I shouldn't say that. They didn't have the spinal backbone to codify any of the DOGE cut recommendations.
Wow. Yeah, you gotta,
in fact, Trump came out with, his budget, wanted to do all these budget cuts across the board.
Yeah.
And then the budgets they passed to increase spending on most everything. Again, goes to the big government party.
Yeah. Big government or bigger government? I mean, in my opinion, I think they're both playing the people. It's the left wing, right wing, same sick bird scenario.
They are. Yeah.
Just one seems to be the better
Absolutely.
cheerleader than the other. And they both have their moments.
Par for the course.
It's great stepping away from politics and not like looking at it from a party perspective. And you actually, you see all the monies that go into the campaigns and all the monies that get paid out and all the little things that we don't know about, such as, hotel, airfare, so on and so forth. We could have paid off the national debt many times over. Politics is a very expensive as well as a very dirty situation. It's disgusting. If you look at the books, the real books, whoo, I might have to do a show on that sometime in the future. I came to the discovery of some things back in 2023, shortly after I quit some teams there in the state of California. And they tend to, put the focus in other places to where, even the same team that you're working on, they found out it'd be jaw dropping.
I can only imagine.
I hate getting involved, but when I see people, gathering signatures for a petition, the first thing I ask, since I got heavily involved in the major petition drive in California, is who is the proponents for these petitions? And with that, they're like,
and then the follow-up is, do you know what you're collecting signatures for?
Right. And they're out there doing a job. They get, some of these people are paid petitioners. So, of course, they're not going to know a whole lot of information except for, the more signatures I get, the more I get paid. So I wasn't getting paid for any of the signatures I collected, nor, I didn't even get paid like 1/10 of what I actually got reimbursed because I was actually putting into the campaign. But, in the end, I found out that I was being used. And it was a very, very terrible feeling when I, came to discovery of that. And it's all public information that I found. I'll share that with you later, Matt. Maybe we can put together something in those regards. But anyways, let's see here. We got some other things to cover here. Graham Platner, state of Maine. Quite interesting what's going on with him. And actually, right before we even started the show, there's like some breaking news. But let's go ahead and cover what we discovered yesterday. So a well-placed source told us that Graham Platner is dropping out of Maine Senate race this week. Note that Platner has yet to release his Q2 fundraising totals, a sign he may have underperformed expectations. So then there's
Oh,
An article in Politico. Platner says he is taking the time to reflect on his candidacy. Oh, wow, that sounds like a poor me kind of situation. Oh, I gotta look at this over here or over there.
sounds
Yeah,
like your
this
typical politician answer.
right. So before we even went live, Matt saw something, some breaking news. Do you have that there with you?
Yeah.
Read that out
I'm bringing
loud
it up
for
right
us,
now.
please.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm not going to show that on
Oh, it's
screen
a
because
doozy.
this is. Oh yeah, absolutely. Where's the drum roll, please?
Coming from the Washington Post, breaking Maine Senate candidate Graham Platner is facing a second explosive allegation after an ex-girlfriend accused him of secretly removing condoms during sex, despite her explicit objections, according to a new report.
Holy.
Um,
Whoa.
Let's see now. Okay, this is me playing devil's advocate here. Okay,
Okay.
so going off of the time frame and the closeness of the race, this is very, very similar to very, very recent sexual misconduct allegations against both Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
And I say the most recent, very, very vocal example was Tom Massey. Okay. Thomas Massey, within a week of the primary election, a hit piece came out saying he was having a uh, inappropriate relationship with a female. I don't even think she was a staffer on his thing. Just basically had an inappropriate relationship with a woman, right? And when it first came out, everybody's like, "Dude, he's a widower, and she's not his employee, so you're mad that he's allegedly having consensual sex with somebody else? Like, what's the hiccup?" Then the story started to change, and like, oh, he paid her he paid her off to stay quiet, and this and that. It's like, okay, and so everybody started like when she was commenting. I don't even think she gave an interview, but again, the key details of her story didn't even make sense. But yet the powers that be, exactly, drop hammer, exactly. What the hell's wrong with that? Nothing. So, but the thing is, like, that allegation against Tom Massey came out at the last minute within the week of the election. It was unverifiable, and the Trump cult blasted it all over, and it basically killed his reelection, right?
Yeah.
And that's happened before in so many, like, Brett Kavanaugh. He had that allegation during his confirmation hearings. Trump, like all of these things. And this has happened to Democrats, like recently it happened to Eric Swalwell, another Republican from Texas, Gonzalez. He had one. Now, some of them were verified. Gonzalez, that was verified. He shitbag. Swalwell, accusation, some with very reputable, details. Okay, he's gone. With Platner, again, applying that same logic, it seems suspect because it's almost, it's what, 40 some odd days before the election, for him at least. Or I don't know, however many days. He's the only guy there, right? Now, taking that outside of it, you have a woman making very detailed allegations. She's being interviewed, and his past is extremely questionable. The guy brags about, his sexual exploits. He's bragged about a lot of things, and he's dismissed a lot of other things. Like, yeah, I did it, so what? Who cares? I got a Nazi tattoo. Who cares? I got to cover it up. Blah blah. Whatever. I'm not ready to dismiss this. Not yet. I think there's some. I think there's some verifiable information out there. And what's the worst part about this, though, is the first accusation from the I forget her name. She said in the Politico piece that I didn't come forward sooner because I agree with his politics. I just disagreed with the person, or I had issues with the person. that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
That's really kind of sad. Like, you're accusing him of raping you, literally raping you. You're accusing him of rape. I'm sorry, but if my political hero, raped me, I'm throwing you to the wolves. I'm going after you. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting, stories come out about politicians, and it seems to take this certain focal point. And then it's not only politicians do that, mainstream media does it. Media influencers do that. I want to pop up a little quick graphic that I'm grateful that Matt was able to find on the internet. We don't own this graphic here. We're just putting up the display here, but basically it's showing
years old.
It's a cameraman actually pointing at a completely different scenario than what's being shown on television. And it's it's great that it's there. I wish I had a link for everybody to see it, especially for the audio listeners, but we'll see if we can dig that up later. And so I saw a tweet come in yesterday. A friend of mine sends me this tweet, and with her saying that is Mitch McConnell dead? So I'm looking around, digging around to try to verify this. None of mainstream media has this. Has some little mishaps and things like that happened with Mitch McConnell. He's been in the hospital for about the last 3 weeks. Is interesting. So it was about 3 years ago. I want to play a short little video. I don't know if people remember this about Mitch McConnell, but I want to play this short clip here.
Finishing the NDA this week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
So do you remember that, Matt, when he just froze behind the podium? He's just like,
sorry, I gotta laugh at that.
I feel sorry for the guy, honestly.
Like, are you okay, dude? You okay? You okay?
I felt sorry for Biden when he had his little mishaps. I mean, the guy's like supposed to be walking somewhere, and he's like off to another direction, and where am I going? I feel bad for these people. And
the worst part about it for him is though, like he's found unconscious, unresponsive. They do CPR. They send him to the hospital. What does his wife do? Bam, goes off to China to meet the vice president.
Yeah. So the post that I received yesterday, I sent it over to you, Matt, and then we went ahead and we found a different verifiable source, because the post I seen, basically strongly indicated that he was dead. Let me pull up a quick little video. I want to only play a few moments of this next video here, but there's actually some interesting things going on. I'm grabbing the link here now as I play it.
Townsend here again outside of George Washington University Hospital as we mark week 3 of the hospitalization of Senator Mitch McConnell following the June 14th medical emergency. As you can see behind me, the Capitol Hill police vehicles, these black vehicles, are still parked outside the hospital here, an indication that he is likely also still here. So after I first released the dispatch audio indicating that he was found unconscious and was given CPR for cardiac arrest, this story finally gained national attention. However, I don't think many Americans fully appreciate the seriousness of what may be at stake following Senator McConnell's medical emergency 3 weeks ago, or how Congress's lack of a constitutional mechanism to remove members for incapacity could have broader implications for the nation's governance and, most importantly, national security. This incredibly odd story also involves Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who stated to Politico that he had spoken with McConnell the day after his hospitalization and that he, quote, sounded good, end quote. Now, this statement threw off the press for nearly 2 weeks, placating the public until I released the EMS dispatch audio showing the seriousness of this medical emergency. Now, given that Senator McConnell is still here in the hospital 3 weeks later, and as far as I know, he has not spoken with any other members of Congress, now puts this initial remark by Leader Thune into question. And look, he could.
So that was yesterday when we discovered that. Elaine Chao, McConnell's wife, appeared in China just days after his hospitalization to meet with high-ranking Chinese officials. That is beyond fishy to me. Wow.
That's not suspect at all. Nothing to see here. Nope. Nothing at all.
What did Drop Hammer say earlier?
You're racist. You're racist.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll
Nothing to
put
see here.
that up on screen. I went ahead and dropped the link in the comments, and I'll get that shared out later. But yeah, it's quite interesting of what's going on in that situation. It's crazy. It is crazy. See, I do have another couple of video clips.
She brings up a very good point, though. She brings up a really good point. The fact that Senator Thune, the majority leader, allegedly had a conversation with him a couple days later, or within like the next day or two, of him, being found unconscious, unresponsive, and CPR being done on him. And the mainstream media took that and ran with it for 2 fucking weeks. 2 weeks. Now, I'm sorry, but that doesn't concern anybody,
Right.
like at all. All I understand. A colleague of mine had an exchange on Twitter earlier that I had said, like, hey, this is a big freaking deal. This guy's a sitting U.S. senator. And she's like, well, it is a big deal, but I don't think it's as big as you think, because he's not, the majority leader or the House Speaker. I'm like, yes, that is a very good point. He is not. He's neither one of those. But in my opinion, you have a member of the Senate, a sitting member of the Senate, who was taken to the hospital, CPR given to him, had a conversation with. Now you have the Senate majority leader having a conversation with him. So now it gets implicated. The majority leader of the Senate is lying, or is potentially lying, could be lying about a conversation we have with somebody just to protect the political mechanism. And nobody else is picking up on that. I'm not seeing a lot of coverage. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, ABC, CBS. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of coverage on that. A lot of people are being very, very quiet, and I don't know why. And
That's
again,
why.
like you exactly. And a lot of people, exactly. And a lot of people, like you said, when his wife, Elaine Chao, goes and meets with the vice president of China for a couple weeks, who does that? If if you were married and you went to the hospital with CPR given to you because you were unresponsive, your wife's going nowhere.
Right.
Besides
Exactly.
you, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like, she's not leaving your side.
I've been in hospitals for my mom and friends. I've been there for people.
Yeah.
I'm practically staying the night at the hospital for friends. My mom, I definitely did. For your loved ones, you do what it takes to make sure they're well.
Like, staying the night, okay, fine. Like, it's one thing if you're stable, if you're awake, if you're stable, you're non-life threatening and everything like that. Yeah, go home, get some sleep. No big deal. But if you go tits up and get sent to the hospital doing chest compressions and everything like that just to get you back, I'm sorry, I'm planting my happy ass in the hospital room. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
And she doesn't leave the hospital room. She doesn't leave the hospital. She didn't leave the state. She left the freaking country to go to China. Tell me she isn't a fucking spy.
Right.
Or at the very least compromised by a foreign power who is not our friend, by the way. That's my problem. I don't know what's going on.
But if my internet,
nobody does.
Sorry, folks, my internet's having some drop issues. I was on the phone most of the afternoon trying to get that squared away, and we just experienced a moment here. But it looks like we're back on. Yeah. So when it comes to the spies, is yeah, they're right there next to our Senate's, our House, and all that, and they're also coming in through like borders. I was in a discussion last night. It's not just the southern border; it's the northern border too. We've been really loose with the Canadian border. Canada's been getting tight on us, for as far as things going through, but from America, United States up to Canada. But when it comes from Canada back down, we've been really loose for way too long, way too long. So it's been terrible situation. We should be, more focused on, again, America first. Oh, you saw a post from Thomas Massey regarding McConnell.
Yeah.
Please
Hold on,
read that.
Let me find it.
Please read that out loud. That was
He is
beautiful.
a national treasure. He is a national treasure and should be protected at all costs. Let me find it real quick. Here we go.
Yes.
This is from Congressman Massey. I spoke to McConnell for about he's quit giving Israel spying on America. He's sorry about how it turned out.
Well, hold on. Your audio's cut out a bit.
Absolutely believe it.
You might have to read that again because your audio cut out. The whole thing.
And again, this great. The whole thing. All right, here we go. About 20 minutes this morning, he said we should end and stop spying on Americans without a war. He's really worried about how much crime.
Oh no. You're coming in like a bad transformer. No.
Love that guy.
We might have to do
Didn't
that.
go through again?
Yeah, correct. Oh, now you're coming in great.
Damn it. Third time's a charm. What did you miss?
Yeah. The whole thing again. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, folks. Take 3. I spoke to McConnell for about 20 minutes this morning. He said we should end the war with Iran, quit giving aid to Israel, stop spying on Americans without a warrant. And he's really how my primary turned out.
There it is, folks. Yeah. So McConnell's not dead. And
Class
this
act.
happened to me like 18 or 20 years ago. One of my good friends, his nephew was in the hospital. His nephew's probably a little younger than I am. But with that being said, his nephew was in a coma. And
how old are you, Tim?
I'm not going to say. Anyways, good try. Yeah, but mutual friends were starting to say, "Oh yeah, this our friend is dead." I'm getting pissed off because I just left the hospital knowing that the guy's still alive. I can still see his vitals on the little monitor. He's still in a coma, but I mean, it's like terribly chanting or terribly praying for the person to be dead, and that is disgusting. Absolutely, that really, really bothers me. That some people are giving the heavy inclination that something that that it's not true. That's what I saw in that text that I received yesterday from my friend Stephanie over in Arizona. So when I saw that and she questioned it, is he dead? And I'm like, well, let me look some stuff up. And then I went ahead and I passed over that link over to Matt here. We found a secondary source that actually showed even more so with what's going on with McConnell's wife, which was very, very interesting.
I wouldn't go and say that. I wouldn't say that McConnell's dead. Yeah. Excuse me. Could he? Yes. Could they be lying about it? Yes, absolutely. Right. He's most likely still alive, but I seriously doubt the validity of him being lucid enough to have conversations with not just 1 or 2 or 3, but 4 different people and roughly about the same subject matter, the same time, and roughly the same, like, I'll be back soon. I'm not buying that.
Right.
He could very well be alive and, maybe be in a medically induced coma or an actual coma or, on life support, whatever, and he's still alive. Yeah, sure. Right. That's probably, I think that's probably what the case is.
Will he continue to serve office is a whole nother question. Now, what that situation that I showed in the video where he paused at the podium, that should have been his call to, step down. It's time to pass the torch. I'm losing my abilities to think it.
The reason why he did it was purely political. I understand the reason why he did it. He's from Kentucky. Kentucky has a Democratic governor. If he stepped down, the governor appoints a Democrat senator, and then we lose a Republican seat in the Senate. That's why he didn't step down.
Yeah. And yet Drop Hammer. I do
However,
believe that McConnell is still.
that goes to a stronger question though, is why did he seek re-election the last time? He
Right.
should have stepped out then, so we can have a Republican senator who's fresh from Kentucky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm stating. Pass that torch. Be well with it too. So
Yep.
We had this interesting discussion last week. Vigilant review on today's society, today's culture. A vigilant review on today's culture. And there was quite a few comments on Instagram. We definitely like the interaction. We like the comments. We did one about people learning the language. Or your grandparents or the parents telling the kids to speak American or speak English. It's not a national language, but we want to be a greater part of this country. So let's go ahead and be a part by doing our part, speaking the language. And English is not an easy language. My friend that I was referring to earlier, he was in his 60s at that time when his nephew was in the hospital, but he's Portuguese, and he had a heck of a time in grade school. When he migrated, and him and his parents came here to the United States. I miss the guy. He passed away a few years ago. Albert, I miss you, brother. Actually, I'm more like an uncle. But anyways, yeah. So that was one thing. That was one. I think there was like one or two negative comments on that on the Instagram. But the other one that got a lot of comments, we're near 800 likes on it, and a handful of comments, and I think there's a couple maybe of negative comments. The rest of them were all for the better. What we're trying to talk about was about Islam and taking over. There was a lot of comments on that, and I'll go ahead and post the Instagram link into the chat. You can find it at Tim Holliday TV. One of the points that we try to make to our audience is watch the entire video. And I do put the link in, and I sometimes get lazy and forget to say link is in my bio, because I know on the Instagram app on your mobile devices you can't click on it. But you can actually click on the link that's in the bio, and then it takes you to the full Instagram page. It takes you to the full Rumble channel, because I've had issues with Facebook in the past, or not Facebook, but YouTube in the past, and it's just it gets a little messy on YouTube on occasion. I've only had like one or two different flaws on Rumble. Facebook, they pull the videos after 30 days, so you can't go back and watch it again or share it with friends or anything to that effect after 30 days. And Facebook started doing that roughly about a year ago, which is very, very disappointing. So people leaving comments, we love the interaction. It's great. Watching that just show up, like turn around another hour later, there's like 4 or 5 more comments, or 3 or 4 more likes. And definitely like the interaction, like seeing what we're seeing. Even some of the negative comments, we'd like to hear from y'all too.
I like them all,
but
we like them all.
Yeah,
it goes to the point though you're trying to say though, is that everybody needs to. We love the engagement, absolutely want more of it, but go check out the whole show, because again, that 30-second clip is missing a lot of context for
Yes.
you, not for us, because we're having that conversation.
Well, I mean,
But
what
yeah,
we're doing was
we're
trying to get across, try to give the temptation to watch the entire show. And in a different aspect, we are doing this whole focal point thing. We're trying to hyper focus on, hey, hyper focus, look at the full video. And that's
it's not malicious.
My intentions. No, not at all. Not at all.
It's not malicious. We're not the real media. No, I take it back. We are not the mainstream media. We are the real media right here.
we encourage people
to
look things up.
Yes. Look it up. Confirm it. Don't take our word for it. Watch the whole segment. Do your research. All that stuff like that. Right. Again, with the immigration clip that that got a lot of things like, hey, you're missing a lot. We had this conversation. Go watch the video. If you can't find it on Instagram, find it on Rumble, find it on YouTube, find it on Facebook, find it on my X feed. I stream it live on X when we're doing it here too. And that stays up forever too. So it's there for your consumption.
Right. So I'm putting the Instagram link into the chat, and I'll put that in the show description a little later. That's at Tim Holliday TV on Instagram, where you can catch the reels, but you also got to be sure to catch the entire show. And the link to the Rumble channel is in the bio. Even Pastor Jerry Cook's link is in there too for his Rumble channel. I support I don't just support myself. I'm try to help out others where I can. So I actually found a wonderful little video clip to compound a little bit about this immigration thing, about the regards in a different country on how they handle immigration. And let's take a quick listen and watch.
How many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
If you are asking me, if you're asking me about Muslims illegal immigration, none, not even one will come to Poland. Not even one if it's illegal. We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim. This is why our government was elected. This is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason why we had not even one terrorist attack.
Isn't that unbelievable?
So they don't have nearly as many problems as some of the other countries. And we're seeing a lot of problems in the European countries there. And we're starting to, experience issues ourselves. So when we did that show last week, a vigilant review on, I always forget that last part, a vigilant review on,
Citizen Vigilante.
Yeah. So we reviewed Citizen Vigilante, and we're talking about today's culture. Yeah, vigilant review on today's culture is what we call the show. And so again, we gotta be careful, be more aware, or the other word is called vigilant. Be more aware of what's going on. Not just only on the television, but from politicians. Be aware of influencers, including ourselves. Look it up. I want to encourage everybody, look it up. Definitely, look it up. It was probably about 3 weeks ago. This is shortly after we did a show, heavy talk on Thomas Massey. Someone posted down in Los Angeles County that Massey didn't even pass any legislation, and I went ahead and I looked it up right away. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Remember the airline pilot strike because they didn't want to be forced to be the jab? Thomas Massey actually wrote legislation to where they didn't have to have the jab. Took away that strike fairly quick. Thank you, Thomas Massey. And he did
and also
go ahead.
It goes to 2 points. Thomas Massey writes a lot of legislation. He proposes a lot of legislation. The problem is it doesn't get passed. Okay.
Right.
And again, you have to take everything at piecemeal, because what he puts forth again has to pass a litmus test for him. Is it constitutional?
Right.
And unfortunately, that is a taboo subject with both parties now, even the Republicans, because it kind of gets in the way, that pesky little Constitution. But also too, again, my primary point is we cannot use the quote unquote amount of legislation that a congressperson or a senator passes as a success rate. I don't want legislation passed all the time. I don't want all these laws. I don't want all of them. I want, if a legislation is proposed, it better be goddamn necessary. It better be absolute necessary, and it better make my life better.
Well,
if it's just legislation for legislation purposes, I don't want it.
How we opened up the show today, there's a lot of things that are passed that are not, lawful or constitutional. It's void and null because it is not constitutional. And California needs to take a hard look at themselves, especially with their even the state constitution. They're passing legislation in the states that is very harmful to its people. And Governor Gavin Newsom, as soon as he got into office, he actually took it away from the will of the people to have the death penalty there in California. That was actually voted in by the people to have the death penalty there.
Yep.
And
that's the voter
completely. And it's terrible that something like that happens. And I don't know what you would call that, in technical terms. I'd like to give it names, but I don't want to give any false names to it. We are coming up to a close end here. So definitely follow Matt on X, Matt of Mystery. Yeah, I went ahead and dropped the link in the description. Catch Matt and myself on Tuesdays at Tim Holliday TV or Matt at Mystery on X. So you can find Tim Holliday TV on Rumble, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch TV, on iHeart, Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts. Matt, always a pleasure. Consider you a good brother. You're awesome, dude.
Likewise, Sam. Absolutely.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure.
Thanks everybody for watching and listening. See you guys.
Do your own homework. Research it yourself. Do your own due diligence, because you are the people. We the people. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Ciao for now.